Hey everyone, this is the Paralympic sport discussion. For this discussion, I'm choosing to answer 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. Number 3, what are some specific strategies the IPC could use to increase sport participation by athletes with disabilities who live in developing nations? So something that I think the IPC could do to increase sport participation by these athletes, uh, especially in these developing nations, would just be to advertise uh, the benefits of participating in these Paralympic um, Olympic Games. Um, just showing that what 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 it does for the confidence level and the self-esteem on these Paralympic athletes, showing this more broadly to the world, and really just how happy these Olympic Games make these Paralympic athletes. I think that would really help. It's something that's going to help with their mental health uh, as well as their physical health, because these Paralympic athletes are relying on um, just certain parts of their body. Since they are paralyzed, they don't have full functions of their whole body, so this is going to help them mentally and physically. So I think just advertising and showing really the benefits that it has on these Paralympic athletes would be something to increase the sport participation. Number 4, a number of Paralympic athletes are talented enough to compete in the Olympic Games. For example, at the Rio, well, it's basically just saying how um, these people in the Paralympic Games are talented enough to compete in the Olympic Games. Um, what effect could this have if they compete in the Olympic Games and also the Paralympic Games? So I think that if they are talented enough to compete in the Olympic Games, that this should still not be allowed. I think it's a good idea to still keep these athletes separated. And this isn't any kind of discrimination. It's just to keep the playing fields more even. Yeah, these Paralympic people may be able to still compete in the regular Olympic Games, but they do have a better off chance of having a more fair competition if they were to just stick in the Paralympic Games. Even though they may be just as talented as the Olympic competitors, um, I still do think that the Olympic Games is something that's just so uh, big and well watched, and um, something that you need to keep the competition level. It is the highest level of competition in the world, and I just think that this should be all able-bodied athletes, and that the uh, Paralympic athletes should be their own separate thing. So number 5, some people would argue that athletes with disabilities should retain a separate identity from able-bodied athletes and compete only with other athletes with disabilities. Do you agree or disagree, and why? So I would agree with that statement. This is merely just a mental health thing, I would say. They may be able to, like up above in number 4, they may be able to have the same performances or even better performances than people in the Olympics, but their condition may slow them down in any sense, really. And I just feel like for the best even competition and all that stuff, I think that they should compete with able-bodied athletes should compete with able-bodied athletes, and Paralympic athletes should compete with other Paralympic athletes. Um, what benefits do disability sport and athletes with disabilities offer to able-bodied sport organizations? Some benefits that disability sport and these disability athletes offer to able-bodied sport organizations. Um, it could give them a better image if they were to embrace the disability sport athletes and take them in and treat them no differently than the able-bodied athletes. This would benefit their image greatly. Really, this shouldn't be anything to be considered. These are still people at the end of the day, and they deserve the same treatment. Um, but just showing them the same respect that you do the able-bodied athletes and the same attention, like I said, that'll really just help the overall image of the sport organizations.